Hey, and welcome back to the Road to the Great Canadian Open, Winter 2026. My name is Clarence, and this is my video series as you follow me as I paint up my Brotherhood Without Banners army, 1 hour a day, 1 day at a time. And we're back. We're in for at least one more episode. We finished our activation banners last episode, and being the degenerate that I am, I went out and I bought a Neutral Heroes 1 because I really wanted to have a Varus painted up in the scheme of my army, and I wanted to have my own Varus that I wouldn't have to unpack my whole neutral case for one model that I could just put in my banner Brotherhood Without Banners case instead. And we're going to get them done today. So before we get going, the whole reason why I'm doing this series is to help you to hopefully pin up your army as well. If you're a new hobbyist or an existing hobbyist who's just found no motivation to paint up their army, I'm just going to show you that if you work a little bit away at it, over time, little changes become big changes and you can get a lot done. I suggest that you try a simple technique. I'm using Slapchop. Slapchop is very, very easy. I've got a link to a tutorial in the description box below. There's a ton on YouTube as well. It's very easy, it's very fast, low skill, but high reward. And even though you may be able to paint better than at a Slapchop level, a Slapchop army is better painted than no paint, obviously, and better than just colored plastic as well. And, you know, if you haven't started because you weren't sure how to start, if you haven't started because you think it's too much work, trust me, Slapchop gets it done quickly and it looks really, really good. The second thing I'd like you to do is come out to my tournament. So it's happening soon in about a month and a half or so. It's the Great Canadian Open happening in Mississauga, Ontario, hosted by the TGX at the Small Arms Building in Mississauga. So it's going to be a 2-day event, 32-player cap, 5 games, pretty standard song, 2 lists, standard missions, and it's going to be really, really fun with a lot of cool prizes and a lot of cool people. So if you haven't bought a ticket yet, please click the description box below. There are links to the tickets there. We hope to see you there with my Brotherhood. So with that, let's take a look at what we're doing today and where we're going to end up.
And here we are with the Lord Spider, Master Whispers himself, Varus. So we're just going to prime him up black. We're going to hit him with the Zenithal, and then I predict we should be able to get him done today. It should be maybe 30-40 minutes to do the Slapchop, and I may go a little over time to do the base, but I think we can totally do this in one day. So we'll come back after we do the Black Prime and the Zenithal. See you soon. Here we are with Varus all primed up. We did a black primer coat, and we had him on his own, so we were able to get underneath him pretty cleanly and not need a black paint touch-up. We then sprayed on some Wraithbone, and then a very light dry brush of white on top of that for the Slapchop process to get started. And now that this is all down, we're going to go back and apply our contrast paints. So I wanted to match my Brotherhood, which means yellows and greens. I think the bulk of his robe here will be yellow, and the underneath parts will be green in the middle, and maybe the sleeves will be green as well. And after we got that down, we'll come back and take a look at the other colors and decide what we want to do. I just want to say that he's been a really great addition to the Brotherhood. I think he's just a very flexible NC in general. Hard to argue with him for 4 points. The versatility of his kit, either healing wounds, which is great in Brotherhood, dealing hits off the sword, or extra shift are all very, very useful. So much so that I use him in my Bolton's army currently as well, and it's hard to dislodge him. So he's been great. I encourage you to try him out if you haven't done so, and let's get some paint on him. So see you soon. We've got about 50 minutes of work left over. Let's go. So here we are 15 minutes later with the main colors down. So we got the green, which is Warplock green, the yellow, which is Nazdrag yellow, and the flesh tones, which is Crusader flesh. I think Guildman flesh from the GW range is a close analog. And we're just down to little bits, so we're going to get done probably in the next 10 minutes. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the belts in... what brand am I using? Snakebite leather. And I think everything else, so like the trim along his sleeves, his collar, his shoulders, and his front chest there, I'll do in red. And I guess his shoes I'll do in Black Templar black, just because I don't want them to stand out. The reason I'm choosing red is because, A, it does show up in my army a little bit, but secondly, he doesn't really live with the Brotherhood Without Banners. He's still a, what's the word? Member of the Small Council in King's Landing for the most part, right? So he should still look a little bit regal, and I think that red will add to that regal kind of tone. So brown for the belt, red everywhere else, red everywhere else, and black on the shoes. We'll be back after that. See you soon. Another 10 minutes later, and we've applied the snakebite leather to the belt, and we've applied Blood Angel Red to the other details, and Black Templar Black to the boots. And he's painted, and as I was, rubbing my hands of glee having finished, I forgot that I've got to do an oil wash. So we're about 35 minutes in. We're going to let the paint finish drying, and then we're going to go outside and gloss varnish this one guy. We're going to apply the oil wash and come back, and I think we have to actually wait about a day before we can matte varnish the model and then do the base. So we got one more episode coming, folks, but we're almost done this one. So we'll see you soon after we apply the gloss varnish and the oil wash. See you soon. And we're back after applying the gloss varnish and the burnt umber oil wash. So we're going to let that dry for about an hour, maybe an hour and a half or so, and then I'm going to use a makeup sponge to wipe it off, and then we have to let it dry for about 24 hours before we can matte varnish it and apply the base. So one more episode coming, folks. We'll be back after we wipe off the oil wash. See you soon. And we're back an hour and a half later. We've wiped off the bulk of the brown oil wash. It's actually raw umber, I found out, not burnt umber, so I apologize for that. Raw umber paint. And he is pretty much done, so we just have to wait for this to fully set and dry, and then we give it a quick matte varnish spray, and then we got the base, and that'll be for the next and probably final episode for a long time. So my army will be fully painted, all in the same scheme. I will be publishing more battle reports as I play more at X Planet and online, perhaps. The only thing I may come back for in January, perhaps, is if I decide to add a little bit more to the army, which I may do with Stormcore Dervishes and some Tully Cav and maybe some sort of archer. But I could literally paint at least three more units, I think, to try stuff out. I do want to try Stormcore Dervishes with Thoros and Edric. They sound pretty spicy. I do like the idea of a double Tully Cav build or a double Cav build, but it's a lot to paint, so we'll see when we can find time for that. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching, and we do have a battle report coming for you. See you soon. Keep the faith.
Welcome back, folks. We're at X Planet Games playing A Song of Ice and Fire against Jay, and we've got a pretty vicious version of the Martells. So we're playing Banners and Butchery, and we're playing off against Commander Oberyn in some cheap spearmen. We've got a lot of DACA, a lot of shooting. We've got Edric Dane in skirmishers. We've got, what's his name again? Ariahota for battle plan. And what else did he do? And give up vulnerable. In the Skyreach Bowman. We've got the Spear Lord for extra attacks in the other skirmishers. And we've got the High Hermit Sentinel for in more Skyreach Bowman. So 4 units that have range attacks. Michael Chanel, fix this. We've got for NCUs, Doran, and we've got Tayeen. So interesting, because there'll be 6 zones, but one, who knows which one, will be poisoned. Who knows? On myself, I've got the new and improved Boltons with the latest patch updates. I've got Commander Steelshanks in Blackguard. I've got Flayed Men and a Glory Seeker. I've got Cutthroats with 3 attachments. We've got Ramsey, Reek, and a Bastard Boy, Ben Bones. We've got Sour Allen in Archers. They're back on the menu, baby! And then for NCUs, we've got Roos, Tybalt, and Varys. I really want to see how well Roos does in this matchup. So that is the armies. The terrain, Jay won the dice off with all the range stuff. He picked a Palisade. I chose a Weirwood, which is counterintuitive to Bolton stuff, but I just don't want anything impeding my path towards him. He chose a stake over here, and I chose a Weirwood. I would have chosen a hedge, except you can't put terrain within 6 inches of the board edge in this scenario. So we'll see. Here's the zoom out of the scenario, folks. Banners and Butchery. Let's go. Round 1 coming up. Shuffle. End of round 1. We sure did shuffle. So nothing much happened. I'm trying to stay out of range of his archers, obviously. I think Jay's feeling it, so he's kind of repositioning his archers to be more flexible, because when they push down, instead of being hunkered behind the palisade, Jay's repositioned them so that they can also push through the gap if Oberyn pushes down as well. His other archers went onto the point, had the option to blow it up. And these guys were like speculative over here, and then I kind of moved my Flayed Men to sort of look that way as well, to kind of pull back a little bit. The easiest way to win is to blow up an objective. So I'm trying to look for paths, right? So again, I don't think this is going to last here much longer. So I'm just looking at paths to get down to Jay's end zone. Otherwise, not much interesting happened. I did some chip damage here and there. Roos did a wound there. I put some weakened tokens out here. And then I did a panic test there. Make it harder for the bag to undo all the damage. But again, just getting position. Round 1 over. Round 2 coming up. All right, what a
patient game we're playing. So it's the end of round 2, and I definitely don't want to move towards this shooting alley of death. Any one unit that comes forward is going to be peppered by 2 units of archers and skirmishers, so I'm holding back. Here, Jay faded back, and with only 2 NCUs, I was hoping that maybe with the horse I could get a charge in, but Jay went back far enough that these guys could not do that, so they just pushed forward, and then I could get a flank charge right away, but then he used tactical position to make that impossible, so it's going to be a front charge. He also played Unexpected Exhaustion, so they're also -1 to hit, which makes them worse as well. It now makes my opening play questionable. Like, I don't want to charge in the front necessarily, but I also want to remove that token and the -1 to hit. So it's a real interesting game, because if nothing changes, I do lose. I'm hoping this play gets me deep. We'll see how it goes. Round 3 coming up. Alrighty, it is end of 3, and what happened essentially is we had a big back and forth over here. I started off by removing the vulnerable and the unexpected exhaustion because I didn't want to be -1 to hit. Jay used a water garden token to pivot and put himself to shoot. I put some weakened tokens on him. He shot with the sword, I believe, did some damage. The weakened lessened the damage a little bit. I then charged in, and I was weakened.
You canceled Rising Temperature.
I also canceled Rising Temp with the Flaming House of Secrets, very, very clutch. I charged in, did some damage. I was weakened, so it wasn't as bad as it could have been. I also rolled a 1 to charge. Couldn't play cards. He then activated and shot into combat, did some damage. He did do some damage with the shooting when he activated. But clutch.
I did 4, you healed 2 back.
Yeah, and then I took the crown with Roos. The unit was pretty crippled at this point because after the hit and the sword Varus hits, Roos did 3 hits to the unit with the vulnerable token, which is pretty huge. Panic Test also went down with the -1 with the panic token. Was able to finish them off and then play a card at that point to heal some wounds back. Jay realizes the danger. I'm behind him. Tokens are open. He's kind of turned around everything to kill this unit. If he can get the kill with this unit, he's going to win the game. I think I kind of misplayed my turn here because I still hung back. I should have pushed hard. So only he pushed hard at the end. So we'll see how this turn plays out. This could be the round where points get scored. Alrighty, we are at the end of 4, and blood has been spilled on the Bolton side as well. So Jay played it completely right. He knew that if I got an activation off, I was going to get on the objective and blow it up, get 3 points, and probably win from there. So he did the right play. He charged in the Spearman, put down the poison, and then it forced me to take the horse to retreat out. In hindsight, I retreated too far because I went the full distance. And then Jay activated with a unit and shot me. It killed me. And I was a little salty because I feel like they shouldn't have died, but I remeasured how far I was from that objective, and a 5-inch maneuver and a sword and an attack would not have killed it anyway. So when I retreated, I should not have retreated as far. I was barely off the objective. So that was my mistake as well. They still died regardless. It doesn't really matter. And then Dan, who's watching the game, made a good point that maybe instead of retreating backwards, I should have retreated sideways down this way to try and survive. Jay mentions that he's got battle plan and can cunning ploy and try and catch me, which is also true. Blah, 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 blah. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. So we're at a point here now where I'm just down the points on the table, and he's pretty turtled up. He's not going to get to my objectives. I know that if I hang back, I'm going to lose. I know if I push forward, I'm more likely to lose a unit because I wasn't able to get a charge into a sword, which might kill something, and I cannot one-shot anything with my units. So I'm more likely to get shot up and just lose this stuff. However, because it's Banners and Butchery, it should end 0-0 or maybe 0-1 at worst if he gets a kill, which is still like a minor loss. Even in a tournament, it's really not that bad, and this is more fun than just calling it and re-racking, so we're going to play it out and see how it goes. Anyway, that's the tirade. Round 5 coming up. Alright, we are done. Unexpectedly, what happened was this unit, I played the sword to remove the Rising Temp and play cards and be able to heal. Eventually, Jay pushed in front of them to shoot them. They took some damage, but they charged back in. I played one of Steelshank's new cards, which gives them Sundering and Crit Blow, dealt a bunch of damage, healed some wounds from Prey on Fear. Archers then shot into combat, almost killed them off.
I actually thought I misplayed because I could have finished the unit off with a card for extra panic damage, but leaving one wound alive allowed Steel Shanks to come in and get that final wound, score me 1 point, and he then took a volley of fire, but thankfully Dan reminded me that because he does not control the crown, he can reroll his saves, which blunts the damage. So we played out to the end of the round to see if he would get crippled. I rolled really good saves, he did not get crippled. So it's tough for Jay to get back and kill this unit now with 1 round to go. It's not impossible because he's got shooting, but I think we're just tired at this point, we're going to call it. So it was pretty unexpected turnaround. It was definitely a hard one. But Jay's also like, I just don't know what any of your stuff does, what your cards do, the combos, blah, blah, blah. So we'll call it there. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.